Hello everyone and welcome to our coverage of Oz Cycling's National Road Series and the Tour of Gippsland as the NRS comes towards a conclusion for 2023. A couple of months still to go and a couple of races still ahead of us. My name is Scott McGrory and I'm joined to go through the Tour of Gippsland, second day of competition with Jethro. Nagle, who was doing all the commentary at the venue today, which is Phillip Island, Jethro, the MotoGP circuit. Big double-header day with the time trial and road races today.
Yeah, how you going, Scott? It's a cracker up there, and I think as bike racers, it's always a pleasure to get to race on, a legit racing circuit where I guess you're getting the most out of your machines. They're racing on that smooth, hot mix. It's a real cracker. The course is a beauty, and Scott, the wind, it picked up, and it just got stronger and stronger as the day got on.
Hey, mate, you added the wind in there like that's part of having a great surface and a nice circuit. I'm not sure the riders were too keen about the wind out there today at Phillip Island.
No, certainly not. Anytime they touched the coast or went on a part of the course where the wind was coming from the side, it was instantly causing gaps between all the riders. And so, they really had to work hard just to stay in the bunch at points throughout the course, Scott.
Yeah, so second day of competition here at Phillip Island for the 3-day race, four stages in total for the men and women of the National Road Series. So we did kick off this morning at 8 a.m. with the time trials. The ladies were first, followed by the men. So let's have a look at how the time trials went this morning. Whether it's cars, motorbikes or bicycles, the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit is a spectacular location for sport. The Stage 2 time trial for the Tour of Gippsland consisted of 4 laps of the track for a total of 17.8 kilometres. With a strong breeze, it was a true test, and in the women's race, overnight leader Georgia Whitehouse from ARA Skip Capital was last to go and finished with the third best time. Team Bridge Lane's Emily Watts was 24 seconds quicker to finish second and would become the new overall leader. And picking up her first ever NRS stage win, Caitlin Nicholson from Butterfields Racing was 5 seconds faster than Emily. A great win for the team.
Absolutely amazing. I have no words. Truly, really, really amazing. It's awesome for the team to finally get a win and get our name out there. A smaller team, it's really, really exciting. Yeah.
Obviously, you are well suited to the time trial event. That's why you won. What were you expecting going into it?
I think I just treated it kind of just like, I don't know, just try and as consistent as possible, I suppose. Just go out there, know your numbers, and how much can you make yourself hurt, I suppose. Yeah.
The same distance for the men, and ARA Skip Capital's Declan Tresice was pipped for second by 1 second by Bridge Lane's Alistair Christie-Johnston, with the Stage 1 winner going down to the 18-year-old sensation from Queensland, Jackson Medway, who won by a whopping 56 seconds and takes the overall lead.
Really happy after yesterday, after a little bit of a early celebration, but this one had no clue where I was, just following the guy in front. Didn't catch him, I didn't know where I was. It was just like, I don't know, dead at the end, and came to my coach and he let me know the news.
Jackson Medway, mate. We spoke about him yesterday. He was second in the stage and did the salute 1 lap too soon yesterday, but he rectified it. No victory salute for the time trial today, Jethro, but what an impressive performance that was.
It was a super impressive ride, and we were just kind of waiting for him to start all day. And he had the error yesterday, which you'll live and learn from, but today on a road bike TT, the power does the talking, and it was a stomping ride from Medway. And Scotty, I think I was really impressed with the interview from Caitlin Nicholson, now winner in the women's as well. Like she said, Butterfields Racing, not one of the strongest teams in the NRS, and she was out there and she looked super aero, taking the win over Emily Watts and Georgia Whitehouse, 29 seconds back. But Caitlin's position on the bike, she looked like a real time trialist out there.
Well, former rower, so I only learnt this by chatting to her after the stage win. So former rower, got into triathlon, and then now is in the National Road Series and getting a good win, not just for herself, but it's also good to see a team like Butterfields come away with a win, isn't it?
Absolutely it is. And, great similarities to last year's, one of last year's stage winners and great athletes in Georgie Howe, who was very successful at the Tour of Gippsland, former rower herself. So, maybe there's something in the water. We might have to take up rowing.
Oh, no, there's a great transition from rowing into cycling, that's for sure. And look, the men's with Jackson Medway, what a great result from him. You know, we saw Alistair Christie-Johnson second, 56 seconds back. Declan Tresias really close between him in second and third. And then Ollie Stenning and Tristan Saunders, who leads the National Road Series overall, coming in. Good to be in fifth, but it was a long way off the winner from this 18-year-old kid from Queensland.
Yeah, Jackson Medway, I mean, the man on everyone's lips is a really impressive ride, and just goes to show talent can come from anywhere. Jackson's background was in running as well, so it is really exciting, particularly when you get a rider coming from another discipline. And it's just, it's like a what's in the box sort of moment.
Yeah, and so Grace Brown is another great prominent Australian professional that came from running as well. As long as they get the biomechanics okay, so if they can actually go from running to pedaling a bike, it seems simple, but you know, the biomechanics need to fit right. They've got a great physiology. You know, you can't hide as a runner. So if you're a good runner, middle distance and beyond, you're probably going to be a good cyclist as long as you can get that the cadence and the biomechanics going, I think.
It's a really good point. I was actually speaking with the team manager of the Cycling Development Foundation, Brad Hall, and he's looked into a lot of research about athlete specialisation with regards to their development. So when junior athletes are growing up, it's actually beneficial for them, as a lot of the latest research says, for them to participate in many sports and not specialise in a sport too early. So it's good to see. We're seeing athletes who've taken part in other sports from a range of disciplines then coming to cycling and seeing some really good results there.
Absolutely. Well, look, let's take a short break, get some messages from our fantastic partners here at the Tour of Gippsland, and then we'll go into stage 3, the afternoon stage from here at Phillip Island.
Stay young with you. Stay young. Stay young. Stay young.
Well, stage 3, so third stage, but the second on day 2 was going to be a tough one, wasn't it? So you would talk about the Phillip Island circuit. They did 4 laps for the time trial, but it was much more difficult for the afternoon stages for both the women and the men's, wasn't it, mate?
Oh, it certainly was. The women, well, they had 18 laps, and the race, it kind of got harder and harder for the women as the wind picked up. And what was really interesting in the women's race was some of the smaller teams and maybe the teams who aren't as strong, Scott, were using their numbers and trying to make the most of getting the QOM points and also the intermediate sprints. So really good to see some of the smaller teams like the Women's Racing Project having a crack out there. It was a really good package.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at how the women's stage 3 went. Stage 3 for the women was 18 laps for 80 kilometres around the GP circuit, and Team Bridge Lane were quick to have a strong presence on the front of the peloton. The wind had picked up, which made for a nervous peloton, yet despite that, Disa Dyson from the Women's Racing Project was eager to get off the front. She lasted for several laps before Bridge Lane eventually reeled her back, and immediately Amanda Poulsen from Manly tried her luck. As the peloton started to split, in the closing laps, Poulsen made it to a lap and a half to go before being caught, and the reduced peloton was set for a bunch sprint. In the headwind struggle to the line, Georgia Whitehouse from ARA Skip Capital outfought Lucy Fittius from the Cycling Development Foundation for her second stage win. And with Bridge Lane's Emily Watts finishing third, she retained the leader's jersey by 7 seconds to Caitlin Nicholson and 11 seconds to Whitehouse.
Yeah, we all opened up way too early and it hurt. My cadence was super low at the end, but thankfully we were all in the wind kind of spread across, so equal pain, I think, across the first 4 riders.
One more stage to go, but you're still in the leader's jersey. Time gap has come down a little bit, though.
Yeah, it has come down. I was a bit unfortunate. She got some intermediate sprints on me and then she did get the win, so no, it's unfortunate, but she got 11 seconds still.
Jethro, you could just tell from Emily Watts there, not really up and about because she did lose a few seconds throughout that stage with the time bonus sprints at the finish and throughout the stage as well. So perhaps great to still be leading, but I don't think she was that happy behind Georgia Whitehouse getting the stage win, mate.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. You got the tone of voice perfect. Emily Watt, she's played a really smart race up until now and, of course, leading the race. But she has been beaten in 2 sprints now by Georgia Whitehouse. And as a sprinter and as an attacker yourself, no matter what anyone says, you are thinking about that. It's 2-0 to Georgia Whitehouse. And I thought, from a team's perspective, you see the GC here, Emily, with a 7-second lead over Nicholson, and then Whitehouse with 11 seconds back. From a team's perspective, Scott, the teamwork of Team Bridge Lane for Emily Watts was terrific today. I thought Lily Pollock, Keely Bennett and Mia Hayden did an absolutely ripping job maintaining position, chasing moves back. And also for ARA Skip Capital, they only had 3 riders, and it was the powerhouse again, Rachel Wales, who did so much work in the road race to make sure that race came back to the sprint where Georgia was able to get the finishing touches.
Yeah, only 3 riders and then 2 stage wins in bunch sprints. So they've done really well to outmaneuver the powerhouse that is Team Bridge Lane. Lucy Phidias, always consistent in the sprints as well, 2nd place for her. So that was a solid ride. And I've got to give a special mention to Disa Dyson because it's the first time I've said that name before, and I haven't come across a Disa. So D-I-S-A, sounds like Lisa, but with a D. So great for her to be prominent and off the front as well. Again, look, I just like to see some of the smaller teams having a go, not just being led by Bridge Lane or ARA, and actually getting out there and having a real go at it.
Yeah, well, things like the Queen of the Mountains competitions, the intermediate sprints, that's really that's a perfect target for these teams who maybe they don't quite have the riders to contest for the win, but they can go after these jerseys. And the Women's Racing Project, it wasn't just Disa as well who was out there attacking. Every time the race came back together, it was WRP, Women's Racing Project, another rider off the front trying to gain points. And also they did a pretty good job in the stage finish. It was Kim Rasker finishing 4th as well. So not only the QIM, but a top 5 result.
Yeah, fantastic. So the men were up next. So we can have a look and talk through the men's package because, mate, unbelievable. A lot of depth in the men's peloton here at the Tour of Gippsland. And as always, right from the start, the attacks just kept coming. Ryan Schilt from Cage Parker was the first one to get off the front, spend a little bit of time out in front on his own. So good again to see another team up there in the mix.
Yeah, they were really throwing some haymakers trying to get that early move established. The attacks did not stop. You see Liam Whitehead just getting brought back. And then in the black here, this was Joshua Lubman, individual rider, and he rode out of his skin today, eventually making that winning move. Finlay McGrory on the screen as well from WA. They were all trying to get in that move, Scott.
And it sounds simple, doesn't it? Go on the attack, get in the move. But the circuit's so fast, and with the depth within this field, saw it several times. It's splitting up. Jackson, Medway having to bridge gaps himself because he's out there on his own. So his tandem co-attacker team didn't come down. He's here on his own in the lead at 18, and everyone throwing attacks at him. So he was under a lot of pressure today.
Yeah, they were. And this moment was crucial. This was actually one of the intermediate sprints, and Dalton Stretton was the only man here, part of this group, that continued on. And he ended up, as a result of that, in the move here with Reef Roberts, Boris Clark, Sam Hill, number 55. And that was the winning move. So sometimes going for those intermediates really pays off, Scott.
Does. And, the next intermediate came through, another 3-second time bonus going to Dalton Stretton. So putting himself nice and high in the mix. Great to see the young New Zealander, Reef Roberts, in that move as well. So they were off the front, and all the pressure went to both ARA, because they missed the move. So you got Declan Tresice trying to chase things down, but also Jackson as well in the leader's jersey. When all that stopped, Tristan Saunders, the overall NRS leader, he jumped across to that lead group. And it was always going to come from one of the guys from Bridge Lane, but it came from the NRS leader. It was not that far from the finish. The gap blew out to just under 2 minutes, and then Saunders powered ahead of the rest of the breakaway group to get the stage win. So great riding by him as an individual, but really good teamwork from Bridge Lane.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic teamwork from Bridge Lane. And Tristan Saunders, a real clinical move when he did attack from the group containing Jackson Headway, who was doing just so much work. He got rinsed out like a towel in that race. He did an amazing amount of work, and he actually destroyed a lot of the race. But when Saunders made his move, he saw Headway was tired, and he got across. And I spoke to Tristan after that race. He did say it was just the moment to go. So when he made that bridge, yeah, real classy move.
Yeah, well, the Bridge Lane boys, and that's the tactics, right? That's what you do. You've got an individual rider there in the race, in the lead. He's only 18, super strong in Jackson, but they put him under pressure. And Boris Clark came away in second, Mitch McGovern, so 2 riders from the same team, the Cycling Development Foundation. So they'd be perhaps a little bit disappointed because they're second and third. They would have liked to get the win. And then in the overall standings now, Ollie's standing 9 seconds behind Saunders. Only 12 seconds there to Boris Clark. So it's still really tight now between the top 3. So great finale coming up for the final stage. And look, we did talk to Tristan. I asked him about, just how Bridge Lane just kept throwing things at the youngster to try and get the win. So let's hear from Tristan Saunders after the finish.
Yeah, it was a really tough day, actually. Double days are always hard, but no, it was an awesome ride by the whole team. We just took a bit to work over young Jackson, but after a few attempts, we finally cracked him. But yeah, awesome team performance.
Look, just on that, the youngster, he's only 18. He showed how strong he is. Everyone's giving him big raps, but it did take a team to crack him.
Oh, 100%. We had to use all 7 of us to get rid of him. But no, really impressive rider he is, young up-and-comer. So I'm sure that won't be the last we see.
But look, regardless, you had the group up the front. You had to get across to it to make it happen, to come up with a win. So that was a big move.
Yeah, we were just waiting to get, ARA had to chase because they weren't represented at the front, so we were just waiting for it to come close enough where hopefully one of us could jump across. And once Declan had to start pulling with Jackson, I knew that was the time to go. So just hit it when we had a nice gap and got across, and just Dalton pulled as hard as he could and rode the gap back out, so it was awesome.
Knowing it was a big tough day today, second day of racing, one more stage to come, how are you feeling?
Yeah, still good. We do a lot of training to make sure we're ready for these. So sure to do another good performance tomorrow for the team, and the boys will be back out to show the colours once more.
I like the chuckle in his voice when he said that they had to throw the attacks at him, multiple attacks to crack Jackson. So they had to work hard, the boys.
They certainly did. And, Scott, it's just so exciting when you can go into the final day and both the men's and the women's GCs are up for grabs. Anything can happen on both races. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. And the course is in the other direction as well. So maybe that'll shake things up too.
Yeah, so they're going to get to know this circuit so well, but going in the non-traditional direction. So clockwise, which they haven't raced around that direction for quite some time, actually. An NRS race a few years ago they did, but it also means slightly more uphill finish. So it was a downhill headwind finish today. The wind stays the same. It's going to be tailwind, but a long drag up to the line. So that may change the way things play out tomorrow.
Yeah, it certainly will. And, on the men's side, young Jackson, well, he might be unleashed, nothing to lose tomorrow, and he could go on the defensive. So there's a lot to play for. Whitehouse and Emily Watts, that battle, well, it's going to be really exciting.
Absolutely. So make sure you at home tune in tomorrow for our wrap coverage, finishing off the Tour of Gippsland tomorrow afternoon, the 4th and final stage, 3rd day of competition. We'll see you tomorrow.